Hey, what's up, my friend? Keala Kanae here, and in this video, I'm going to share with you kind of my thinking, my process, my strategy around how to scale your business to 6 figures per month. Whether that's a digital business, a courses business, a consulting business, a coaching business, a widgets business, who knows, okay? And so, as a result of me, what I'm going to share with you here, you can take that to scale to 6 figures per month, or you can take it to scale to 7 figures per month, right? In fact, this all comes from what we've done in my business. So I launched my primary business today towards the end of 2016. Within 6 months, we were at over $1 million per month in revenue. By the end of the first year, we had done roughly about $20 million in sales. And so as a result of scaling and growing the business and its revenue that quickly, I'm often asked to speak at small masterminds, or to do some one-to-one consulting with some of my friends in the industry. And a lot of the question that comes up is, how do I scale my business? How do I get it to that next income level, that next revenue level? And a lot of what I hear in that arena, when I ask questions about what have you tried, people say, well, I just got to get more leads, or I've got to run more ads, or whatever their thought process is. But really, scaling a business is really just looking at the business through a particular set of numbers. So the way that I look at my business is just very simple grade school mathematics. I'm going to show you what I mean here in just a moment. So stick with me, because I promise you will walk away from this video with a new level of understanding and actionable steps that you can begin implementing in your business. All right. So probably the best way that I can explain this is to use my business model as an example so that you can understand the thinking, and then we'll apply it to maybe a simpler business model so you can understand how the thinking applies to a different business model, and that way you can understand how to apply it to your model. So let's say that my goal for the month is to do 500,000 in sales, right? So on this end, I have a goal of 500K, and now we're just going to reverse it. So for me, revenue in my business comes primarily as a result. So about 70% of the revenue that I collect in my business is going to come as a direct result of a phone call. So we're going to reverse engineer back, and the thing that happens here is there's got to be a phone call. Okay? So my question is going to become, how many phone calls do I need to have? So how many times does my sales team have to pick up the phone and talk with someone in order for us to hit that 500,000? So, and I'm going to give you some numbers that are similar to my actual numbers, but they're not exact. I'm going to keep the numbers very round in order to make this easy to understand, right? So roughly in my business, every time somebody on my sales team picks up the phone and connects with a customer, we make about $2,000, okay? So we're going to say that this is 2,000. Oops, that looks a little bit messy. Okay, we're going to say that this is 2,000 bucks. Okay, so how many of those phone calls do I need to have in order to hit that $500,000 goal? So I'm just going to do some math. I got my trusty little phone here. Pull out the calculator. So 500,000 divided by 2,000. So I need to have 250 phone calls. Okay. Now my phone calls happen as a function of appointments. So I want to know then, how many appointments am I going to need to have, right? How many appointments I'm going to have to get scheduled for my sales team? So right here, I know that on average, about 85% of the people who schedule a call show up for a call. So if I want to have 250 phone calls that are completed, where somebody's actually spoken to, how many appointments do I need to get scheduled using my sales system, right? So we're going to say 250. And remember, this is 85%. We'll change the color here so you can see some of the critical metrics that we're using. Okay, so this is 85%, right? 85% of the people who book a call will complete a call. So I want to know, if I want to get 250 people to complete a call, how many booked calls do I need to have? All right, so we're going to say 250 divided by 0.85 equals 294.1. So we'll say 295. So 295. So if I want to get to that $500,000 goal, I'm going to have 250 completed calls. 295 booked appointments will result in 250 completed calls. Now, in my business, people who are eligible to book an appointment, so booking an appointment is a function of buying one of my front-end products, right? So of the people that buy my front-end products, so those are a little bit lower tier, right? Of the people that buy my front-end products, I get about 85% of those people to set up an appointment with my team. So I'll look at this again and say, so if I want 295 appointments, how many front-end sales do I need to get? So 295 divided by 0.85 equals 347. Okay, so this will say FE, so front-end sales. Okay, and I'm going to need 347 of these. So again, just so we're clear, to get to 500,000 in sales, we're going to need 250 completed phone calls. We're going to need 295 appointments. In order to get to 295 appointments, we're going to need 347 front-end sales. Now, in my business, I know that roughly front-end sales is 2.8% of the leads that I generate. Okay? So how many leads am I going to have to generate into the front of my funnel? So 347 divided by 0.028 equals 12,392. So here we have leads, 12,392. So I'm going to need to generate 12,392 leads in order to generate 347 front-end sales, which will result in 295 appointments, which will result in 250 completed phone calls, which should result in $500,000 in sales from my phone team. Okay? And then I can go even one step further here, and I can basically say, on average, what are we paying per lead? And that will dictate my ad spend. Okay? So let's say here that I'm spending $5 per lead, which we actually probably spend more than that. But we'll say times 5 equals, so this is going to be $61,000 and 960, 61,960 in ad spend to get to 12,392 leads, to get to 347 front-end sales, to get to 295 appointments, to get to 250 phone calls that were completed, to get to $500,000 in revenue. So that's my game plan. This is my game plan to get to my 500,000 in revenue. Now, some people might say, well, Keala, you know, I get that. Now, why is that? Oh, I'm going to actually, hold on. Let's put some of these numbers here so that you can see how we got there, right? 2.8%. Okay. Okay. One sec. So just so that we're all clear, this is based on I make $2,000 per call, which is, we actually do more than that per call. 85% of the people who book an appointment actually show up for their appointment. 85% of the people who buy our front-end product will actually book an appointment. So I'm just reverse engineering 250 divided by 0.85 tells me how many appointments I need. 295 divided by 0.85 tells me how many front-end sales I need. 2.8% of the leads who join our email list buy. So 347 divided by 0.028 or 2.8% tells me how many leads I need. And then how much I spend on average per lead tells me what my ad spend needs to be. Okay, so that's the game plan. Now, people will ask me fairly often, Keala, well, you know, that seems pretty complex. Why don't you just figure out, if you want to generate 500,000 in sales, why don't you just figure out what your average customer value is and aim at acquiring that many customers, right? And here's the reason for this, is that would basically be hinging the success of my business on only one metric. And that's dangerous because if that metric were to fall for some reason, well, then we're going to miss our goal. And there's more than one thing that can be changed in our business in order to hit our goal. So as an example, when I look at this as a funnel, right? What if I'm able to increase my front-end conversion rate from 2.8% to 3.5%, let's say, or just 3%, that's going to change all these numbers across the board. What if I'm able to get 90% of my customers who buy a front-end product? What if I'm able to get 90% of them to book an appointment? What if I'm able to get 90% instead of 85% of the people who book an appointment to show up for the call? What if I work with my sales team, add some additional training, and we're able to get our call value up from 2,000 to 2,200? In other words, by knowing what all of these numbers are, I know that we can swing multiple levers along this customer journey to increase this number. So when I'm working with my team, we'll create this number as a goal. We'll reverse engineer and figure out what we need to spend in ads and how many leads we need to generate and all that stuff. But then we're also going to devise a plan to increase every single one of these along the way. You know, we're going to increase, maybe we're going to run some tests on the show up rates on our webinars and see if we can bump this up to 3%. From our front end sales, we're going to do more phone calls. We're going to do welcome calls and call every single person that buys one of our products immediately and make sure that they're aware that they need to book an appointment. When somebody books an appointment, we're going to assign somebody on the staff that's just calling in advance and making sure that they're going to show up for their appointment or whatever it might be. My numbers that you're looking at here, they're roughly about this, but they didn't start out there. They started out at like 50% and 60% or whatever it might be. And we've increased them along. This started out, it was at like 1%. And we've bumped it up along the way by doing multiple tests. So by knowing what every lever is that we can pull, I'm able to increase the performance of the business across every step, which allows us to get to this number quickly. So if we, and more efficiently and more profitably, right? So if we were to just say, oh, well, our goal is 500,000 and our average customer value is 2,000, so we're just going to focus on getting 250 customers this month. And then let's say that we actually get to the 250 customers and we go, wait, hold on, that didn't work. For some reason, we only made 400,000. Well, what broke? You don't know what broke unless you know what all the numbers are. Or you don't hit your 250 customers or 250 front-end sales. Therefore, you can't possibly hit your back-end number because you don't know what other levers that you could be pulling. And that's an issue, right? You're basing your entire success on one metric. Whereas by thinking through my business like this, and we actually look at way more data than this, but by thinking through your business like this, you're hinging your success on multiple opportunities that exist inside of the business, right? On any given day, I can increase these numbers by deploying some additional work and see if we can bump that up, okay? So hopefully this makes sense so far. Now what we'll do is, let's just go ahead and apply the same thinking to maybe a simpler business model, right? So let's say that we have a funnel, we generate some leads, and people join our email list, and let's say we're selling a SaaS product, okay? And of the people that join our email list, maybe 30% sign up for a free trial. Of that 30% that sign up for a free trial, let's say 20% actually stay and continue to pay afterwards, or actually it'd probably be higher than that, realistically. So let's make this just a bit more realistic. So we'll say of the 30% of the people that sign up for a free trial, 70% will pay and continue to pay. And of the people that continue to pay, let's say 10% upgrade to our enterprise level, which is, I don't know, maybe $500 a month. So we have a funnel here. We're running ads into the top of the funnel, right? People join the email list. 30% of those people sign up for the free trial of the software. 70% of those people continue to pay. So let's say that it starts at $100 a month. And 10% of those people will upgrade to our enterprise level, which is like $500 per month. let's say as an example. So now if we say we want to make $100,000 is our goal in this business, then we just start reverse engineering, right? So $100,000 is going to be, let's say 100,000 divided by 500. So how many enterprise level customers do I need in order to hit $100,000? Yes, we're going to make more than that because I still have these $100 customers here, but I like to attribute my income goal to my strongest metric in my business, where the majority of my money is coming from, and I let the rest kind of be icing on the cake, right? And you can make this more complex by mingling these two numbers and trying to figure out what percentage of your revenue comes from this customer, what percentage comes from this customer, but let's keep it simple. So 100,000 divided by 500 equals 200. So I'm gonna need to get, in this example, 200 people to upgrade to my enterprise level this month in my SaaS business. 200 people, divide by point, so 10% of them, 10% of these folks upgrade to this. We're gonna divide by 10%, right? So divide by 0.10. That tells me that I need to get 2,000 of these people, right? Now 2,000, 70% of these folks become these folks. So we're going to take the 2,000 and divide by 0.7. 2,000 divided by 0.7 equals 2857. So here I need to get 2857 people to sign up for my free trial. 30% of my leads sign up for the free trial. So I'm going to say 2857 divided by 0.3 equals 9,523. Okay. So this would be our game plan in that SaaS business, right? We want to make $100,000. And if we hit all of these numbers, we'll actually make a little bit more because we have 2,000 people who bought this $100 product that we're not even attributing for, okay? So $100,000 in sales, $500, we want to get 200 people to sign up for our enterprise level plan. In order to do that, because that's 10% of our previous step in our funnel, we need to get 2,000 people signed up for the $100 plan. We know that that's a function of 70% of our free trials staying. So we divide by 0.7. All right, we need 2,857 free trials. Divide by 0.3 because we know that that's a function of 30% of our leads signing up for the free trial. So divide that by 0.3, we need 9,523 leads. Now we would figure out what are we paying per lead. So, let's say that we're paying $5 a lead. We're gonna spend about $45,000 or so here on the front in order to make this all up on the back. That's an actual plan, right? And at any one of these stages, what if I deploy I'm gonna change this. I can deploy some additional work here and see if I can bump this up from 30% to 35%. I can deploy some additional efforts here and see if I can get more people, instead of 70%, 80% of our customers who sign up for a free trial continue to pay. I can deploy some work right here and see if we can get from 10% to 15% of our $100 customers upgrade to our enterprise level package. So all of these are levers across the business that we can swing and come out even further ahead of this 100. So hopefully this makes sense, and I would hope that what you walk away with is that you start to look at your business and your revenue as a function of every activity that you're doing in your business. And once you can identify and quantify what those activities are worth and identify them as kind of a linear path that your customers are going down, then what happens is it just becomes a matter of doing some simple mathematics to figure out how to engineer your income goal on the back end. And once you've quantified every activity, you can figure out which of those activities is the best opportunity for you to deploy some assets, some work, some leverage, some activity, and increase. Right? So if I were looking at this business, all other things, being equal, and of course there's more data that I would need in order to make this this assumption definitively, but I would say that here is probably their biggest opportunity, right? Because this is only 10%. So to swing that lever and get it to 15% or get it to 20%, that changes the entire economics of this business. It looks to me like the smallest hinge that swings the biggest door. But again, I could be wrong, right? This is already at 30%. 30% of people that you put on your list or that you generate as a lead are signing up for a free trial. That's pretty good, but maybe that's the biggest opportunity. We wouldn't know without some more data. But again, hopefully you walk away with this and you start looking at your business as basically just a system of numbers. And when you can do that, it becomes very easy to manage your outcomes. It also becomes a lot easier to manage which activities are most important to you. It also are most important to the success of the business. It also becomes really easy to manage people on the team because the people on the team are all accountable to a number. And once you know, and once you're using a number to manage their productivity, it becomes much easier than trying to manage their hours or their output. Right? It's either the team hits the number or they don't hit the number, and that's what they're accountable to. So that's why I have 20 people on my staff right now. They're all 100% virtual. I get asked a lot, well, how do you make that possible? Everybody's accountable to a number. But that is a story for a different time. So I hope you got some value out of this, and I look forward to seeing you in another video. Take care.